and welcome our beloved viewers to RTD's News English edition. As usual, we begin tonight's news with the major and top highlights. Let's follow. Djibouti celebrates World Food Day, Ministry of Agriculture. And on the international scene in West Africa, water floods regions of Nigeria. Those were the major top highlights. Welcome back to our newsroom, our beloved viewers. The Peace and Security Council of the African Union received a briefing on the attack by Al-Shabaab on the Somali military base in Beledweyne town on 3rd October 2022. The Council strongly condemned this heinous and cowardly attack perpetrated by terrorist groups Al-Shabaab and expressed its sincerest condolence to the government and people of the Republic of Djibouti, as well as to the government and people of the Federal Republic of Somalia, especially to the immediate families of the deceased, and wished them a speedy recovery to all those who were injured in the attack. The Council took note of the opening remarks by His Excellency Ambassador Bankola Deo, AU Commissioner for Political Affairs, Peace and Security, the statement by His Excellency Mr. Abdi Mahmoud Ebe, Permanent Representative of the Republic of Djibouti to the AU, and the statement by Mrs. Fiona Lorton, Acting Special Representative of the Chairperson of the AU Commission for Somalia and Acting Head of ATMIS. The Council paid tribute to all troop and police contributing countries to ATMIS, commended them for their commitment, and encouraged them to preserve until the total elimination of Al-Shabaab. The Council also reaffirmed the importance of preserving the gains made so far in Somalia momentum in the fight against Al-Shabaab by continuously building the capacity of ATMIS, including by providing all the necessary human material, technical, and financial resources, including enablers and force multipliers to the mission. The Council agreed to remain actively seized of the matter. The Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia condemns the barbaric and cowardly attack perpetrated on October 7, 2022 against the Tajora Regiment of the Djiboutian Army. It conveys its deepest sympathies and condolence to the families of the victims, the wounded, and the missing, as well as the government and the people of the Republic of Djibouti. The government of Ethiopia stands in solidarity with the government and people of the Republic of Djibouti at this difficult time and express its full readiness to work closely with the government of the Republic of Djibouti to combat the scourge of terrorism in the region. The United Nations strongly condemns the terrorist attacks against the armed forces of Djibouti that took place in Garabtisan in the region of Tajora on October 7, 2022, and expresses its sincere condolence to the Djiboutian authorities and the families and relatives of the victims. Furthermore, the statement said that the United Nations categorically rejects all forms of violence and terrorism and reaffirms its commitment to work with the government of Djibouti for sustainable development in peace, security, and stability. The President of the Republic, His Excellency Mr. Ismail Omar Guelleh, expressed his compassion and solidarity with the brotherly and friendly people of Turkey, deploring the death of some 40 people working in a mine that exploded in Amsara in the northern region of Turkey. The expression of solidarity from President Guelleh to the Turkish nation came in a message of condolence sent on Sunday to President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. The people and government of Djibouti also joined me in expressing their sympathy and friendship to the sister nation of Turkey in the terrible ordeal of this tragedy, wrote the head of state in the telegram sent to Mr. Erdogan. May God Almighty spare the brotherly Turkish people the recurrence of such traumatic events, the President of the Republic noted in the same document. A similar message was sent to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Mr. Muhammadu Buhari, whose country has been facing since last June the consequences of deadly rains that have killed nearly 500 people, forcing 1.4 million others to leave their homes. The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, received this morning in his office an important delegation led by the Secretary General of the Digital Cooperation Organization. During this meeting, the Secretary thanked the PM for the welcome and the time he reserved for her and the accompanying delegation. She highlighted and explained to the PM the ins and outs of this organization on digitalization. The Prime Minister, Mr. Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed, welcomed the strong delegation and highlighted the geostrategic location of the Republic of Djibouti in telecommunication. Finally, let us recall that the digital field occupies a prominent place and choice in the current globalized world. Were present at this meeting the Minister of Digital Economy, Mrs. Mariam Hamadou, the Chief of Staff of the Office of the Prime Minister, Mr. Ali Sillai, and the Director of Communication of the Office of the Prime Minister, Mrs. Shukri Ali. Following the example of countries around the world, the Republic of Djibouti celebrates this Sunday, October 16, 2022, pardon me, the World Food Day, whose theme chosen by the FAO this year is Leave No One Behind. The celebration of this day was marked by the planting of 200 trees on the side of the experimental farm in Damarjog and the inauguration of the large nursery of the ministry. These seedlings are part of a batch of 60,000 seedlings of various species kindly provided by the Federal Republic of Ethiopia. At the national level, more than 1 million seedlings of various species have been produced within the framework of the activities of the Ministry of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Livestock, and Fisheries Resources for planting in different regions of the country. In addition, this celebration of the World Food Day was marked by the holding of various stands presenting the exhibition of agricultural products from various regions of the country, the activities of the Laboratory of Production of Date Palms in vitro of CERD, the activities of National Laboratory of Foodstuffs Analysis, which is also known in short as LANA. The ceremony was placed under the high patronage of His Excellency Mr. Muhammad Ahmed Awale, Minister of Agriculture, Water, Fisheries, Livestock, and Fisheries Resources. Were also present at this ceremony Dr. Hibo Mumin Asawi, Minister of Youth and Culture, Mr. Muhammad Sheikh Hassan, Prefect of Arta Region, His Excellency Mr. Birhanu Tisegge, Ambassador of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia in Djibouti, and the Ministerial Election of the Federal Republic of Ethiopia, led by Mr. Hassan Abdul Qadir, Minister Coordinator of the Construction of Democratic Systems of Ethiopia, and the Representative and Resident Coordinator of the United Nations System in Djibouti. On this occasion, the ambassador of the Federal Democratic Republic of Ethiopia made a speech. Let's listen to what he had to say.
A great honor to deliver a message on this occasion. The World Food Day is observed annually on the 60th of October to highlight millions of people worldwide who cannot afford a healthy diet and the need of regular access to nutrition food. We celebrate day with the theme of Leave No One Behind. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, as we all know, the Horn of Africa is continuously affected by climate change, drought, and the locust, and these in turn brought food insecurity in the region. The ongoing pandemic, rising price, and international tension also affected the food security of our region. Bring this in mind, the government of Ethiopia for the last 4 years has been carrying out a massive environmental protection and the tree plantation activity that can withstand climate change as well as agricultural development activity that ensure Ethiopia food security. The Green Legacy that was initiated by His Excellency Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed brought tremendous result in Ethiopia. More than 20 billion seedlings have been planted during the last 4 years with the participation of more than 30 million Ethiopians. Food security is a serious challenge to our region. Ensuring food security is a priority agenda for Ethiopia, and after tireless effort made in the past 3 years, Ethiopia has become self-sufficient in wheat production and will start exporting wheat to our neighboring country from this year onward.
In turn, the Minister of Agriculture and Livestock expressed his satisfaction for the celebration of World Food Day in Djibouti. The ministerial delegation, as well as the guests of honor from Ethiopia, visited the exhibitions of agricultural products composed of fruits and vegetables. Dates from different interior regions, it is clear that the Republic of Djibouti, although it has an arid ecosystem and that the rain is often lacking in agro-nomads and agribusiness, farmers are multiplying their efforts to not only promote agricultural products but also through their efforts, they are integrated into the process of economic development. The Minister of Agriculture expressed optimism about the progress made in the last 10 years in the field of agriculture. The prefect of the city of Arta joined the minister's statement by stressing the importance of this day in the fight against drought and desertification. The Secretary General of the Ministry of Agriculture showed the delegation the warehouse of materials likely to strengthen the agro-pastoral activities. This warehouse is full of equipment needed to promote agricultural products in the regions or in remote localities, and especially will allow agro-nomads to carry out their agricultural activities. By providing the nomads with this agricultural equipment, they will be able to integrate into the socio-economic development process and allow for a sustainable increase in agricultural production and the development of the agro-pastoral and fisheries sectors. The Ministry of Trade and Tourism, His Excellency Mr. Mohamed Warsi Mederi, is leading a strong delegation to Geneva, Switzerland, to present the third review of Djibouti's trade policy before the 165th member countries of the WTO. The review is based on two reports prepared by the WTO Secretariat and the government covering all aspects of the country's trade policy, the general needs of the economy, and the external equipment. The Republic of Djibouti is perfectly in line with the logic of openness and exchange with the world. Its development policy focused on a dynamic participation in global issues will undoubtedly make this review a success that renews the commitment of our country for the next 7 years. As part of the World Rural Women's Day, the Ministry of Women and Family and the UNFD, with the financial and technical support of the European Union and UNDP, launched this morning the Trade Week of Rural Women's Cooperatives at Boadi Mall. The event was attended by the Ministry of Women and Family, the Ministry of Youth and Culture, Dr. Hibo Mu'min, the Vice President of the UNFD, Hasna Muhammad Bilil, the deputies of the Assembly, the deputy representative of the UNDP, the officials of the Ministry of Women and Family. The initiative is timely. It is part of the promotion of the intern. The Ministry of Agriculture and Livestock expressed their satisfaction for the celebration of World Food Day in Djibouti. The trade week that will continue until Thursday, October 20, will allow shopping enthusiasts and consumers enlightened to buy the handicrafts of all kind and have displayed on stands set up on the side. Numerous scientific studies show that regular physical activity or sport helps people feel better and live longer. It is now proven that regular physical activity or sport is a means of prevention that can improve mood, the immune system, reduce the risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, or cancer, especially breast and colon cancer. It is in this context that a conference organized by the Secretary of State for Sports was held this morning at the People's Palace, a moment of meeting with doctors and experts in sport held. The expert of the CAF, Director General of MPS, Mr. Mohamed Umar, the Director of Sports, Mr. Abshir Hassan, were also part from several personalities also honored with their presence at the conference, in this case of the Secretary General of the ACS, Mrs. Khadija Ibrahim Idris, the representative of WHO, from different social categories. It was an opportunity to address all issues related to physical activity or sports and its impact on health and well-being of women, to provide its share of information answers to their various speakers and participants had a long exchange and debate before listing their recommendations. The President of the Djibouti Basketball Federation, Mr. Jilani Mahmoud Douali, presided over the closing ceremony of the National Basketball Championship on Tuesday with the participation of dozens of clubs from the first and second divisions. The Section 5 team won the first division championship by beating the team Veteran with a score of 45-40 in the second division, and the second game, the team Mix won by beating Peaky 13, 6 points difference. In a speech delivered on this occasion, the President of the FDP expressed his joy at the closing of the National Basketball Championship. He also promised to do everything in his power during the coming period to achieve the aspirations of our country in terms of raising the level of basketball in Djibouti, expanding and strengthening the scope of our country's participation, improving its presence in all international, continental, and regional events, and urging members of his administration to redouble their efforts to improve the performance of the federation in order to advance basketball in the country. Young people must be encouraged to play the sport, he said. At the end of his speech, he expressed his heartfelt thanks to the President of the Republic, Mr. Ismail Omar Gelle, and the First Lady of Djibouti, Mrs. Khadra Mahmoud Hayid, for their unlimited support to the development of national sports, including basketball. At the end of the ceremony, the teams were honored with some trophies. Let's now listen to the speech of the president of the Djiboutian Basketball Federation himself, Mr. Jilani Mahmoud Douale.
The season started in the month of June. It wasn't easy for us to get to this point right now. We had 8 first division team and 2 second division team. It's been a long season, to be honest with you. And finally we're here. The final two teams came. Right now it's Quartier 5, and the second team it's the veterans team. So to date, the team Quartier 5 won the championship for the first division, and right now who's playing right now, it's the second division, which is team PK13, and the second team it's the mixed team. Our main vision and focus is for us to protect the kids, you know, from getting harm or from drugs or from you know, just we do all these things just to protect the youth, you know. And I think for me, it's our duty to protect these kids and to do the best we can to help them and to protect them. You know, we trying to keep him on the basketball court, to keep him busy so they can study and come here when they get a chance, a free time, they come to the court and start playing basketball. And that's it. And it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task, but we're here. We will be there. We promise to be there next to them, and we will do it to the end of the day.
As part of the fight against illegal trade, the National Council, in close collaboration with the National Police, has put on hand yesterday evening a large quantity of contraband khat in the area of Gubeto. After a race continues, it is about 30 packages or bags containing 100 packages. After having followed closely and in all discretion, the customs agents and police officers have intercepted the cargo during its unloading. According to the procedure enforced, the whole of the seizure was destroyed with clarity, and this is in the presence of Mr. Yahya Musa Ege, the head of the Division of Customs of the region of Arta. We have just learned with sadness the death of our colleague of RTD, Mr. Ziad Umar Noor, who died yesterday, Saturday. The deceased was born in 18 October 1975 in Djibouti. He left behind a widow and 4 children. The Minister of Communication in charge of Posts and Telecommunications, the general management of all the staff of RTD, addresses their sincerest condolence to the family of the deceased of Ziad Umar Noor. May God welcome him into his eternal paradise. Inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un. Shifting gears towards now international scene, more than 500 people have died since June in Nigeria's deadliest floods in a decade caused by exceptional rains. Let's follow.
People are believed to have died in Nigeria's worst flooding in a decade, with a further 1.4 million people displaced from their homes. The heavy downfalls have hit each switch of the country and affected people in all walks of life. George Eken is a motor taxi driver whose business has been badly damaged by the situation. Floods caused by evident rains and poor infrastructure have affected the fast switch of the country's parking fears of food shortage and high inflation. Fuel scarcity has already caused a long case at petrol situation in the capital Abuja this week after tankers were blocked by floods in neighboring state.
As Uganda faces a new Ebola outbreak, President Yoweri Museveni ordered measures this Saturday. Let's follow.
President Yoweri Museveni on Saturday, October 15, 2022, ordered the containment of the 2 districts at the epicenter of the ongoing Ebola outbreak, with a ban on travel, curfew, and closure of places open to the public since September 19 days and 58 confirmed cases. According to the Minister of Health, the hemorrhagic fever has caused the death of 19 people and 58 cases have been confirmed in the country since the first patient was reported on September 20.
Well, by this, our beloved viewers, we finally conclude this edition. Thank you for being with us, and make sure to tune in later for more. Have a wonderful evening. Take care.